So what's your question, Oscar Blue?
Why are all the animals like spread apart and not all together in a group and stuff?
That's a great question. So what is in the stuff that lives in the sea?
Yeah.
So the fish and the whales and the crabs and the turtles. That's a good question. Why are they all spread apart? It kind of goes back to how big is the ocean? It's massive. Massive. So most of our planet is actually ocean. So that's why we call it the blue planet. So if you see it from space, most of the planet looks pretty blue. Now, and let's pretend you're a fish. You want to be a fish?
Yeah.
Can you name a fish?
Nemo.
Nemo.
Nemo. All right, you're Nemo. I think you make a great Nemo. So, now, do you know where Nemo lives?
In the coral reef.
Oh, wow!
Good job, dude.
So, let's take that coral reef. Now, all the ocean, and where we are, we can actually look out the window and see the ocean. Everywhere you go in the ocean, if I was swimming anywhere in the ocean and I had my goggles on and I look down, I'm not always going to see a coral reef. So there's some really deep parts of the ocean. There's some shallow parts of the ocean. And coral reefs, think of them like the flower gardens of the ocean.
Okay.
Because they've got all those pretty things. Now, what do plants need to survive?
Sunlight.
Oh,
Good job.
perfect answer. So now, if I was living super, super deep in the ocean, do you think I'd get much sunlight?
No.
No. So those coral reefs have to live near the top and in the shallowest areas of the ocean. And most of those shallow areas are near, not all, but most are near the coast, where the land meets the sea.
Yes.
So there you've got coral reefs, flower gardens, where you, Nemo, live, because you like to live in that coral reef, because that coral reef for you has everything you need.
Yeah.
It has all your food, it has a little house for you to live in, all your friends to play with. If you're a big clownfish, you might have a girlfriend or a wife. You might have baby clownfish. Now, for you to be safe and have everything you need, you want to be in a good home. So you would live on the coral reef and you'd stay there.
Yeah.
Apart from in the movie. In the movie, Finding
Yeah, he does
Nemo,
go across the ocean.
what happens? He gets lost. Major problems. So you want to stay in your coral reef. And it's a bit like humans. So you have a choice of where to live as humans. But for us, we do work, you go to school, and all those things are centered around a town or a city. So everything you need is in one little area. So that fish doesn't want to move around. But there's other fish out there. And actually, there's lots of coral reefs. So there's more than one coral reef. So if you imagine all the ocean around the world,
Yeah.
you've got lots of little coral reefs. And each one is like a little town. So can you name a city anywhere in the world? Where are you from?
England.
England. Whereabouts in England?
London.
London. So London's a big city where lots and lots of people live and everything they need is there. Can you name another city? Where are we right now?
Dubai.
Dubai, absolutely. It's an emirate, but it's a big city and it has the same stuff. So lots of people choose to live in Dubai, or they choose to live in America, and you might have said New York. And there's cities all over the world. So all over the world in the oceans, there's coral reefs, and there's lots of little Nemos living in all those coral reefs. So they don't all mix together. Once they've found their home city, their home coral reef, they live there and have their little community.
Yeah.
But some fish, can you think of a bigger fish? Any big fish?
I was going to do the Jaws theme, but I think that will just go.
What's my favourite fish?
A shark.
A shark.
Shark,
Good
yeah.
answer. Now, sharks, there's all sorts of different kinds of sharks, but big sharks. So let's take a great white shark. Now, do you think they would find it easier to travel a long way than you as a tiny little Nemo clownfish?
Yes.
Yeah, they're bigger. They swim faster. It takes less energy for them to travel distance. So what they do, we call them pelagic. Can you say pelagic?
Pelagic.
pelagic fish. Now, pelagic fish is a fish that likes to move around. So it like kind of moves from one town to another town to another town.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, pelagic fish are fish that travel.
Really? Okay.
Now, why would a fish,
Learn
so if
something
I'm a
new.
big shark, why do you think I might travel and want to move around?
To see new things. Or
Great.
Sightseeing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sightseeing, send a postcard, tell my friends, guys, you've got to go over here. Why else? What do sharks need?
food.
Food, exactly. So the sharks, as a pelagic fish, they'll move across the oceans, and generally they're being driven because they want food. So let's say I eat baby seals. Yum, 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 yum. And I am somewhere where there's lots of baby seals, somewhere, let's say Australia, which is a big island in the southern hemisphere, the bottom part of the world. It is?
I mean, bottom, top.
Well, let's not get into that. So, and I'm eating lots of baby seals because all the seals have had their babies. Yum, 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 yum. But all the seals have their babies at kind of the same time. So at some point, there's no more baby seals for me to eat. So I can either hang out and have nothing to eat, or I could go off where I know, because my friends have told me, I could swim thousands of kilometres to somewhere else in the ocean where someone else is having lots of babies, maybe more seals, and then I'll eat those.
Or it's also so you have some fish like sardines, right? You know what sardines are?
Yeah.
You don't
They
want to be
usually
a
come in a
sardine.
can.
Yeah, don't be a sardine.
So sardines like the water to be a certain temperature, right? They like it warm, I'm guessing. Or cold. Let's say either or.
A certain temperature.
Yeah, like a certain temperature. But the temperature on our planet, some parts have. So right now we are entering the winter here in Dubai, but on the other side of the world, they're in the summer. So the temperatures change. That means the waters around those places change. So the sardines keep swimming, trying to find the following
Best
the
temperature.
best temperature water. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. And then now the fish that eat the sardines will keep following them, right? And then the fish that eat those ones, or not fish, like mammals, will also keep following that. So they all move. It's just about really where they can find food and be safe. And if it happens to be in a coral reef, then that's where they will be. If it happens to be just traveling across the ocean or across the coast, then that's what they'll do. And but in the open ocean, right, because it's so deep, not enough light, so that's why there's less life around there.
It's so big. So if you're a pelagic and you're swimming around in the middle of the ocean, so let's say you've left here and you've gone out so you can't see any more land and you're miles away from anything, it's much, much harder to find food because it's so big. So there might be a school, we call it a school, of really yummy fish that you like to eat. But finding it is really hard when the ocean's so big. It's like if I took you into the middle of the desert and said, right, find me an oryx, which is a big animal that lives in the desert.
Yeah.
If you can't see one, where are you going to go?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really hard to find. So most fish, even the pelagics, will turn up at places at certain times of year where they know there's going to be loads and loads of food. Make sense?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.